header or a footer is the area at the top or the bottom of a page. So if we take our Access Manual as a working example, you'll see there is space at the top of the page and at the bottom of the page for us to insert some header information and some footer information. The header and footer information that you enter is specific for the whole document, regardless of the number of pages. So if I wanted to put something in the header, something as simple as perhaps today's date at the top right here, then I would do that with a header and footer rather than go into each page and insert a little text box. So how do we insert a header and a footer to start with? Well, we go to Insert, come across to the Header and Footer section here, and you'll see there are three sort of subsections. There's the header, which has a drop down of built-in header styles. There is a footer, which has a similar built-in option. And then there's the page number option that allows you to insert the page number at the top of the page in various parts of the header, at the bottom of the page, again in various parts of the header, in the page margin, so that's the top left, bottom right, or in the current position where your cursor might be. Now it's advisable that you really insert the page number if you want it to repeat on every page into the header and footer. So let's remove the page number option and just go directly to the header. And we're not going to pick any of the blank options. We're going to go straight into Edit Header. And you can see that then opens up the header section of the document and makes the rest of the document, so the normal body of the document, faded. So it goes a lighter grey. And if we scroll, you'll see we can actually get into the footer as well. Now, anything you put in the header of the first page will also appear in the header of the second page. In the header, you'll notice that the tabs have been changed from the normal tabs. We don't now have half-inch tab stops. We have the start point, a central point here, which is the center aligned, and then a right tab stop over here. So if I tab in the header, it jumps to the middle, or it jumps to the end of the page there, which is really where that tab stop should be. But we know from doing the tab section that we can move it. Now let's move to the page margin. And then to go to the left, left arrow to the center, left arrow to the left-hand side. Now the central tab stop there isn't in the middle either, so we'll just grab that and move it to the 3-inch, which is about the middle, probably a little bit less actually. So the header tabs are set up already for you, and that applies to the footer as well, which we can click into. And you can see the same issue there. Tab to the center, tab to the right, but it is actually the page margin. We can grab that and it will jump to the end of the page, but it won't bring the center tab in. But that gives us the 3 tab stops. The idea being that you can either type on the left and it will left align, tab to the middle and type and it will go in the middle, tab to the right stop and type and it will be right aligned. So for example, in our footer here, we could just put a little bit of example text in. This is left align, tab to the central tab point. This is center align, and then tab to the right tab. This is right align. Now you wouldn't normally make use of all 3 tab stops. This is just to demonstrate that the 3 tab stops exist, and you would use 1 or 2 of them to align the text that you want in the header or the footer. Now there are lots of different things that you might want to insert in a header and a footer, such as the page number, the file name, the file path. A lot of these elements are already available to you on the now available Header and Footer Tools design ribbon. Now this is only here because we are in the header or the footer. If I close the header and footer toolbar, you'll see that it disappears. And then to get back in, I double click. So in my header, and it doesn't matter which page I'm on, because for the moment, whatever I put in the header will appear at the header of every page. I'd like to just insert some basic information. On the header and footer tools, we see we've got insert group here, document info, and I could put the file name. And you can see inserts the file name. Now this is actually a field. You can tell that because when you click, it highlights it in grey. So that if the file name changes, so if I save it with a different name, the field will get updated and the latest name of the file will exist. Now if I delete that, quite commonly, many people would want to put the file path, because that way you know where the file is then stored if you have a hard copy of the file or a PDF copy of the file. Now you can see that that's quite a long path and could be even longer on some machines. So you would tend to then drop the font size, which we can do by going back to the home ribbon and just move that down. Let's go right down to 9 points. You may also wish to insert the page number. Let's go to the footer and delete the content that we've added there. We're going to pick the page number on the right hand side. So inside the header and footer tools design ribbon, we have page number, bottom of page, right hand side. And you can see that inserts the page number. If I want to also put page there, I would need to type that. So page space page number, and that also is a field, so it will update depending on which page you're on. So they're the common pieces you want to put in a header and footer, the page number, and in our case here, the file path. There are other options in here, such as the date and time, giving you choices of time. Quick parts, so these are built-in options, and we can see the auto text entries that we've used previously. You can even insert pictures, for example, a company logo, or online pictures by going online. Now, if I close the header and footer, I can then see on page 1, I have page 1, on page 2, it says page 2, on page 3, it says page 3, etc. You'll also notice that once a header and footer is actually closed, the header and footer text is a lighter grey than the default text for the main document. So it's not distracting from somebody who's reading the document, and therefore is seen as a header or a footer. So here in our header we have the path, and in the footer we have the file name over on the right hand tab stop. So that's actually creating a header and footer for first use and entering a few of the most common details that we'd want to use.